Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Todd Rodden. I think you're going to love this episode. Really a great example of an entrepreneur with a great legacy, really reaching back, highly involved in the community, and really raising up other generations, future generations of other entrepreneurs. So if you're new to the series, we're thrilled to have you join us. I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, I'm excited to have our guest today, Carlos Sanchez. Carlos is the president of Continental Roof Company based in Cincinnati, serving this region. And Carlos, welcome to the Business Spotlight. Take a second, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about Continental and why roofing.
Wow, that's a lot for a quick second, but I appreciate you having me up here. I appreciate the calling me to come out and take a time to have a conversation with you. So, Continental Roof Company was born out of the necessity, obviously, to make money. We're here to put food on the table, but just the need to be able to serve the community. As after many times asking the people that I worked for, can we do a free roof program? Can we, do something outreach in the community? And being told no, I decided that the only way that I was going to be able to do things like this is to actually start my own roofing company. So that's what kicked it off.
So, so really, they told you, hey, you can do that when it's your own business. So you
Right.
took it seriously, right? So,
Exactly. Exactly.
so maybe take a minute. Oh, what type of roofing? Residential, commercial, both? Kind of share with
Yeah.
us, and also how far will you go?
We do a little bit of everything. We do from commercial roofing, single family, multifamily, shingles, obviously, and we're from as far down as Florence, Kentucky, as far north as Piqua, Ohio, as far east as New Richmond, and as far west as the outer edges of Indiana. So we have a pretty wide footprint. It's not too hard to do when you've got the loop. So we're able to do the tri-state trifecta where we're in three different states in one day, and that's always a lot of fun.
That's great. So, kind of build upon that. Then, who are your target customers, your ideal customers?
Well, the obvious is property owners, homeowners. We want folks that own their home and folks that do property management companies, multiple property investment property owners, folks that have roofs that need to be put on. We have a great relationship with real estate agents and insurance agents. I was a former insurance adjuster, so a lot of the work that we do looks like it's coming from an adjuster. So it speaks to an insurance claim, and we're able to get a lot of those things passed and cleared a lot quicker. And some that we don't get done a lot quicker are we stick with and are persistent to get the claim by, which we have a lot of. There's a couple of insurance companies, local insurance companies that are infamous for not allowing a claim to go through on the first, second, third, fourth, or even fifth time. So, it takes a little bit of patience. It also takes a little knowledge of the industry and knowing which buttons to push and which tool to pull out of the tool belt when it's needed.
Great, great background going from insurance adjuster right into roofing. So, you started the business. You mentioned already kind of your passion from able to support the community and do involvement. So maybe take a couple minutes to share with us how you're living that out now that hey, you're 15 years in business with Continental.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I guess I should preface it with I didn't want to be in the roofing business. I didn't want to be in construction at all. I grew up, my dad was a framer, new construction framer, building houses, and he would wake my brother and I up at 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays and Sundays to go work with him. And this is when he'd gone from being a framer to being a clean out guy. So he'd clean out the phases of each project as it was going along, drywall, brick, what have you. So we were kind of his free labor, and I always vowed that I would never that I would never do construction in my life. And my goal was to become a forensic pathologist. And I went to school. I started to go to school for that, and had to get a job. And that job was an ad in the paper that said roofing sales needed, no experience necessary. So I answered the ad, got the job, and little by little, work took over, making money took over. Being able to have dispensable money as a young man was high priority. Where in school kind of dropped off little by little, and throughout that whole time, I there were moments where I hated it. I can't lie. I hated being in the roofing business. I hated the feast or famine feel of it. The roller coaster ride was incredibly chaotic. And as you start to mature, not just in personal life but in business life, you start seeing that this could be very lucrative business. Number one, and with that, be able to do the things that I do like to do. I didn't want to be in construction, but we one of the things that we've always wanted to do is, do a lot of outreach and community work and helping serving others. My faith, my religious background spoke to that. So it's been nice to be able to transfer that. It took a long time and it took a lot of hard work, mental, work on my part, self work to try to overcome the idea that I'm working in an industry that I don't like, that I didn't want to be in. And learning how to maneuver that, utilize that to be able to do the things that we do like to do. So it's been fun.
Okay. Well, Bill, thank you for sharing. You can tell your heart and for that mission work. Share with us then some examples of some of the outreach that you're doing. I know you shared some of the mentoring and that.
Sure. Yeah.
A little deeper.
I think at the low level we sponsor a lot. We sponsor a lot of softball, baseball, little league teams, soccer leagues. We've sponsored mission trips. We've sponsored folks going to Peru and Ethiopia. I've gone on a couple of mission trips myself. And then the high level would be putting free roofs on for folks. So we've got a working relationship with Butler County's Board of Developmental Disabilities that they give us a handful of people, say these folks need some work done. Can you go check it out? And we go out and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. So we also don't we also do things like like a year ago or a year or two ago we did $50 gift cards to every one of the Westchester police department, fire, and EMS staff. So every one of them got a $50 gift card along with their admin people. That's 215, 218 gift cards that we gave out. We teamed up with local vendors like the restaurants and meat markets and folks that would utilize that would like to have an additional customer come in. So we were able to leverage that and get some discounts on some cards. So we did. That was a big deal for us. It's a big deal for the community. Westchester is a tight knit group. It's a really one of those places. It's not really a town. It's not Westchester City or Westchester Town. It's Westchester Township. And people ask, well, what is a township? Well, it's smaller than a county, but it's bigger than a city. It's very hard to define, but it's definitely a great group of people, and we love giving back to them as much as possible. So.
A great list, a long list of examples if you're living that out, right? Serving the community in many different ways. So, build upon that. Hey, there's quite a few roofing companies out there. Is that what makes you different, or are there other things you think that separates your approach in the market?
I think that's probably the top one that separates us. I know there's other roofing companies that do outreach work. I've seen them. They're quiet about it, just like we are. We're not out there bragging about it. We're not out there talking about it. It's just what we do. But one of the other things is that we're trying to change the perception of roofing contractors. Contractors in general don't have a great name, especially in our market with the shysters that come in and out of town and storm chasers that come through here. So we've been trying to change that little by little. We don't have a big slice of the pie here. We're not a huge roofing company. We're locally owned, and so we don't have the money of a venture capitalist group behind us to do some of the things that these guys are doing. But we're doing a big thing with what we have. And it speaks volumes to our integrity when I sit on the board of the Better Business Bureau. So it's to be tapped and asked to be sitting on the board of the Better Business Bureau is a pretty big deal for a roofing contractor. I'm not sure if history has shown that we've had a roofer in the Better Business Bureau's board of directors, but we certainly are proud of the fact that we are. I also sit on the board of Westchester Township's Board of Zoning Appeals. So, being involved doesn't just mean giving free roofs or free repairs. It also being involved in shaping, the culture that we're in. And that's a big deal for me.
Great. Yeah. Your list of involvement just keeps growing here as we talk. Very impressive. So you talked about ways of growing the business over the years. So talked about some, I think, kind of relationships with realtors and insurance businesses as well. But what have been some of your other key marketing strategies for driving growth, driving more leads into the business?
Our number one strategy is networking. It's been a big part of our profile. We don't do any real outbound marketing. We don't no TV ads, no radio ads, very little print. The print that we do is only because we're Christians, and we have the Christian Blue Pages ad, or just doing, we're sponsoring the local Little League team, so they put our name on the banner on the back of the field there. Um, our biggest generator of references and referrals is our networking. We're part of the Business Network International, which is a BNI chapter. Every one of the guys is part of a chapter. So we use that to be able to build that relationship. It's all about farming to us. We can hunt if we have to, but it's all about nurturing, planting the seed, nurturing that relationship, and then harvesting the fruit that comes from that.
Okay, so really tapping those relationships through say BNI, all right, is really
Sure.
key.
Yep.
Okay.
Chamber of
Okay.
Commerce. We're involved in all kinds of networking, but it's the predominant thing that we do here is network.
So 15 plus years now, even longer in the industry, but 15 years as an owner. So tell us, maybe an example of the biggest challenge you had during that time. How did you overcome it? And what did you learn from it, Carlos?
Sure. The biggest challenge I think that we've had is growth. Being able to scale when it's hard. It's hard to do if you don't have the manpower, and finding folks that align with our values is difficult in this industry. I just spoke to the fact that there's a lot of shady people in our industry, and that goes from the owners of a business all the way down to the staff, and having to cull through and find guys that believe in the mission that we have, believe in the values that we have, um, and eventually get it. It's hard for a young person to take on a job when the job is telling you, we don't do this for the money, we do this, for the community outreach. The money is the byproduct of what we do, and if you do the work right, you will make money. You'll make plenty of money, and that's it's hard to find people like that, and we have. It's been great. This last year, we've put on a couple of salespeople that have been phenomenal. That understand what we're trying to do, and are looking at a bigger picture, and not not a tomorrow get rich quick, but an investment for a lifetime of work and money and joy and fun, and everything that comes with it.
So, hey, thanks for sharing that. That's a common challenge across industries these days, right? Is finding those talented folks that connect and stay in the organization, that alignment with the values. So, walk us. How are you able then to find those people though? Right?
Through word of mouth. I think we've got folks that know our mission, whether it's a supplier or one of our distributors that their sales rep has been calling our business for the last few years, that knows how we do what we do, and they'll have somebody say, "Hey, I'm looking for a job. If you know anybody that's out there," and they've been great about knowing who to send my way and who not to. There's a big difference between the guys that are out there normally and the people that we have, and that's it's honestly it's very cool to me. It's cool that my suppliers or my people that I'm surrounding myself with know the type of business that we are, and will cull through their own Rolodex, so to speak, to bring up and recommend folks that would fit within our culture.
Okay. Yeah, great. Again, still speaks to the power of your network. Even on a broader example here. Right?
Yeah.
So, as you look forward out the front window now, what's the biggest challenge you have ahead of you?
I think it's still growth, managing growth. When you do things right, the market will force you to grow. So putting the right people in place, and being able to have the people that we have inside the circle now move up the ladder, so to speak, take on more responsibility and bigger roles, and then find the people to fill in their spots. But that's a big thing right now. It's once you've felt that push. It's hard to say no. It's hard to back out of it. When you get the phone calls, you can't just ignore them. You have to do it. So you're gonna have to do something to figure out how to handle more business. And that's one thing that we've struggled in the last 2 or 3 years is that we'd always had a hard time keeping up with the business that was coming in. Fortunately, we put on a couple of guys, so it's we're looking for business now. It's a fun time to be in here.
Okay. So building upon that, and you talked about how the values of the business and really being involved in the community and giving back and serving the community is core to what you do. What's your vision longer term for the business now? If you look down the road, I don't know, let's say 5 years from now, where do you dream about the business being?
Having multiple offices. I many years ago when I got our web address, our URL domain name, it was my Cincy roofer. At that time, I went ahead and purchased my NKY roofer, my C-bus roofer, and my Indy roofer. So that kind of a goalpost to hit, but that's at a certain point, each guy that's in this office is going to tap out, max out here. And so what's the next step? Well, the next step is to run your own shop, and that's the goal. Of course, if some venture capitalist comes in here and says, I'm going to give you this much money for everything, it'd be hard to turn away. But that's never been the goal for me. It's always been, looking for other markets to cookie cutter our business. So one of the things that we've been working on is an app to help run our business, run our company. And once that's done, we'll be able to just put a stamp on each city with our not just the culture, but with our structure, our processes, and implement that. And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but it's going to be easy to do. It's going to be easy to set in place. The people running it is going to make it happen, but it'll be fun. Opening up new shops throughout the Midwest here.
Would you mind sharing just a little bit more around how that app would help run the day to day of the business?
Sure. Well, it takes right now you're having to either hand measure a roof or order a satellite imagery measurement. Our app will already does that. You can measure it within the app. This app will also break your material list out, give you an estimate to give to the customer, give you a material list to give to your supplier. We are currently API to our supplier, so it's a seamless transition from the customer asking, requesting for an estimate, the estimate being prepared, proposed, signed, and then a job created and materials ordered and delivered. So it'll also do the back end stuff, CRM stuff, manage your customer, uh, hand out the work orders, digital work orders to all your guys. It's basically running the roofing company. You're always going to have human beings doing the installs, but for the most part, everything else will be automated. Now with the advent of AI, it's the sky's the limit. You don't really even need an person answering the phone anymore. You can have an AI bot answer your phone and get all the information you need, and actually even critique and make sure that customer is a good lead. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot that we don't see that's happening, and we're going to implement as much of it as we can.
All right. Great example. Very, very powerful tools, especially for somebody who dreams of scaling to multiple locations, right?
Absolutely,
You need
absolutely.
that infrastructure, right?
Well,
So,
McDonald's does the same burger everywhere they go, and to the point to where they have people going by and checking to make sure that the flavor is right on each burger, that it's the same exact taste at every shop.
yeah.
So it's that when you provide a consistent quality product to your customers, they're going to tell people, and then that's how we end up getting more business.
Yeah. So you've already emphasized the importance of the team. Maybe take a second, describe what your team looks like today, kind of some of the key roles. And again, what have been your keys to retaining that talent? You talked about how you find that great talent. How do you keep them?
Sure. Lately, it's been easy to keep because we vetted them coming in. When you explain to folks what we do here, how we do it, and they appreciate that, then they stick around. It's not hard to keep folks here. They're making money. They're taking their time off. We're very liberal when it comes to a lot of the things that most corporations would be more sticklers on. but it's providing a place to come work where you enjoy coming to work. It's a little bit of excitement every day, especially if you're a guy that's climbing roofs and meeting adjusters and aren't having a good day. It's always a interesting day in the life of a roofing sales rep. But I've got accounting people. I've got I got a business development. My VP of business development, Jason DMAC. He's also a B&I guy. So he was brought on specifically because he's the king in that world, and he's able to bring in the referrals and the connections in order for our guys, the sales guys, to be able to continue that connection and be able to nurture that relationship, and hopefully in hopes of bringing in more business, obviously.
Okay. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs watching this who oftentimes are a little bit earlier in their journey, if just a few years in. And you do a lot of mentoring of young people who have maybe aspirations around being an entrepreneur. So what would you share as your keys to success for those folks?
Hard work. There's no getting around it. I don't care how much AI you bring into the situation. There's nothing like good old hard work. Waking up and taking care of business is rule number one. And there's nothing more than that. If you work hard at what you're trying to do, and you're persistent, you're gonna go places. It's just common sense. And the other thing that I would say is that don't sweat the small stuff. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a dreamer, there you see your dream crumble a little bit, or you see a little piece break off, and it brings you down. Just keep in mind that you've got a long life to live. You've got a long lifeline. Those tiny little lines is 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute of your life. And if you've got something that's giving you that proverbial punch in the gut, the pain will go away soon enough, and you'll be right on top of your game again and pushing forward, and you will have learned a lesson, at the very least, gain some character in order for you to be able to push on forward and do what you want to do in life. And that's a big deal. One thing that I push with the young folks is especially in this age of instant gratification, to know that there's life after that mistake. That's a big deal.
Life after that mistake. Yeah, you could be, especially as entrepreneurs, you can be so hard on yourself that
Absolutely.
some things are going to go south. It's how you respond to them, right?
Yeah.
So, what are the best ways for folks to learn more about you and Continental and to follow you?
Sure. I mean, I'm all over social media. Carlos E. Sanchez. Continental Roof Company. The website is www.mycincyroofer.com, and we don't have the other ones up yet. But I'm all over the place. I don't know my exact handles, quote unquote, because I don't do a whole lot of it. I do this when I feel emotional about something, then I blast something out. And most of the time, it's inspirational. I just like pumping people up more than anything.
Okay. So, Carlos, as we wrap up here today, our time goes fast.
Yeah.
What are you inspired by today?
Oh man, everything. To be honest with you, I'm amazed. I'm in awe at life. Period. There's from the crazy human body and everything that we do as a human being to the flowers, the animals. It's just this whole ecosystem that we live in, our planet. I'm blown away by it. I love that the young people of today, and I'm talking young people, have become are starting to come back around to the hard work mentality, because there was a period of time where everybody was trying to do the easy thing, and we see what happens when that happens. We have a huge gap in the trades. Prices skyrocket, and I see a lot of young people that are, I want to go to the military. I want to go into the plumbing. I want to go to trade school. And I love that. I love the idea that this generation that's coming in, I'm talking about high school to freshmen, college freshmen that are coming in, have a completely different mindset than the generation prior to it. And I'm talking in general terms. I'm not talking specifically that's the way it is, but that's what I see in the fact that I'm surrounded by all of that. I'm surrounded by every generation. In our B&I chapter, there's folks in their 20s and there's folks in their 60s and 70s. So I see that whole, that generational gap that we have in the different things that we need to function as a society. and it's kind of cool to see that coming back around.
Yeah. Yeah. Share with that. As the son of a plumber, it's going to see that, hey, a much different mentality and spirit around pursuing careers in the trades where there's just so much
Absolutely.
opportunity. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Carlos, thank you again for sharing your story here with us on the Spotlight. To the viewers out there, I warned you we're going to see lots of examples of somebody reaching out, serving in the community, and I think you only hit the tip of the iceberg in our short time here today as well. So, encourage you to hit like and to share this with your friends and colleagues as well. Again, thank you, Carlos, for sharing your story with Continental.
Absolutely.
All right. Again, our viewers, encourage you to, again, hit that subscribe button so you can receive future messages of inspiring leaders like you heard from Carlos Sanchez here today. With that, thank you all and have a terrific day.